Okay, so I want to just finish the Sikha that we started last week, discussing the Avodah of Rosh Hashana, and the Rebbe asked, based he kind of shows how the Avodah of Rosh Hashanah is extremely paradoxical, because on one hand, right, we're standing there and we're saying, Hashem, we want you to be king. It's the day of the coronation. It's the coronation of the king. And on the coronation of the king day, the day of coronating the king, which is interesting that we have a day of coronating the king every year. Usually a king is coronated once and that's it. Kind of interesting that we have the king is coronated every year. It's kind of strange.
Everything is,
I don't know, like any other king has been coronated more than once?
No.
They're coronated, and that's it. They're coronated forever. So that we have a coronation every year is itself a question. Anyway, that's not the Rebbe's question. At least not here.
But we need it.
What?
We need it.
We need it, yeah.
We need a reminder. We could use it every day, probably. Coronate the king. Every second.
So, but when you coronate the king, your whole focus is that the king should be king. You want the king to be king, and that's all you want. Right? You don't want any other thing. You want the king to be king, and that's it. So it's pretty paradoxical that on Rosh Hashanah we're standing davening for all we need, all our needs, because my personal individual needs, whether it's in parnasa, whether it's for health, for family, for avodas Hashem, even, there's still my own individual personal needs. It's what I want. So it kind of it ostensibly gets in the way of the avoda of Hachtaras HaMelech, because Hachtaras HaMelech, coronating the king, means my whole focus is that you're king. That's all I want, is for you to be king. I don't care about anything else, because when you're king, everything's just peachy, and that's all I want. So to mix in all of what I want for the coming year and all what I think I need for this coming year, and asking for this and asking for that, it's almost like saying, well, if I don't get this, I'm kind of bummed out that you're king, because this is really what I want. It goes against. This day should be a day that has nothing to do with what we need. That's what a coronation day is. The focus is singular. Singular. I want you to be king, and that's it. I don't want anything else. Any other request, any other need of mine other than you being king is detracting from my statement, from my wholehearted wanting you to be king, right? Okay. So he says that the typical answer is that, okay, great. So we'll just take our needs and say, well, I need all this money because I'm going to give tzedakah, and I need all this health because I'm going to do your mitzvahs. And I need all this nachas because it's for Torah and mitzvahs and being a yid. So I'll sublimate, or I'll if I can translate or transmute my individual needs into somehow it being l'shem shemayim, then maybe that will heal the rift. How can I pray for just Hashem to be king and also have needs? Oh, but if I tell myself, or I tell you, Hashem, that my needs are for your kavod and for you, then it's not a paradox anymore. It's not a steer anymore. My needs are totally in line with you being king. Now, that makes sense, but let's get real. That's how we're going to resolve this conflict, by saying we're all greisa tzaddikim, we're all big tzaddikim that can sublimate our individual needs, and just they're l'shem shemayim, they're just for you, Hashem. I don't want health. I want you, and I just want to be healthy in order to enjoy you. Like, who are we kidding? So that's the answer. That's the answer to the question, that if we can just get ourselves l'shem shemayim, then we'll be able to declare you king and to say what I want. Because what I want is really, all those individual needs are really just a prat in a detail in you being king. Get real. Let's get real. So that answer does not suffice for the Jewish world in general. Maybe there are yechidim, there are individuals who can totally take their needs and it's not really for them or for their own self-interest, it's really for Hashem. But those are individuals. That's not the machzer. We can't answer up this glaring.
Why can't we just accept that he is the king?
Then what do we need Rosh Hashanah for? We've got a day that we have to make Hashem king.
He is the king.
That's it. He's the king, but we have to. Then why do we have to make him king?
He is the king.
I know, but we have a day where all we're saying is Hashem, please be king. I mean, look at the tefillah. The tefillah meaning we have this paradox. Hashem, I want you to be king, and then we have our needs, right? But if you look at the davening, if you open up the machzor and you look at the davening, Shachris and Musaf, there's really nothing about our needs. There really isn't anything about our physical or spiritual needs.
We are proclaiming that there is a king.
Well, we're asking Hashem to be king over the whole world. Should we look at the nusach? Do we want to review the nusach? We have a machzor here. Can review what it is that we're saying. There, right there, at the end of the table. At the end of the table there. Basically, it's aside from what's it called? The real scary davening. What is it? You know what I'm talking about? Tefillah, tshuva, tzedakah.
I consider.
What's that part called?
Somebody asked me the other day. I love Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah because the tefillah is so rich. It's so.
Yeah, it's rich, but it's not filled. It's not filled with bakashas for our personal needs. However, we know that this is the day that our year is decided, both in Ruchnius and Gashmi, right? Remember, Chok L'Yisrael Elokei Yaakov, right? The Chok is the Parnasa and the Gashmius, and the Elokei Yaakov is the Elokus, is the Gashmius that we're going to partake of and be able to integrate and experience the next year. So aside from what is it? What's that thing called? It's in the middle of Musaf, right? It's in the middle of Musaf. What is it? It's called, what's it called? It's called Nisana Toikef, right? Nisana Toikef, right?
Okay.
Nisana Toikef. That's where we say, who by fire, who by water,
We're talking about people.
Right.
Me.
But basically, let's look at the davening, the rest of the davening, okay? The rest of the davening in the Shemona Esreis. The Shemona Esreis, what are the Shemona Esreis? The Shemona Esreis are, from Shachris Mincha Marav, right? What do we say? We say, you Hashem, instill your awe upon your works and your dread upon all these things. Let all works revere you and creatures prostrate themselves to you. Let them all become a single society to do your will wholeheartedly. Okay? And so to Hashem, grant honor to your people, praise to those who revere you, your hope to those who seek.
Give us, okay?
Well, let's not give us. This is Hashem, and so to the righteous will see. We're asking basically Mashiach to come. We're basically asking for Mashiach to come. We're asking for the world to be complete. We're asking for Hashem to be a revealed king in the world. So we may know in our heart of hearts that Hashem is king, but it's not a revealed fact in the world. And our davening on Rosh Hashanah is for it to be a revealed fact in the world. Let it be a revealed fact that you are king. Okay? Please reveal yourself, show yourself, give honor to your people, which is in a sense a revelation of Hashem, because we're called Hashem's people. So Hashem's honor will be the Jews' honor. So and the Musaf is the same thing. Zechronos, we're remembering the whole point of creation, why Hashem created the world. Malchias, We're remembering Hashem's kingship, Zichron, Shofris. We're remembering all the things that the shofar is signifying, which is basically all this perfection. We want the world, at the beginning of the world's being created for the whole next year. It's all being decided. What's the most important decision? What's the most important decision that I think this is the most. Nobody ever told me this, but it occurred to me, and you think I'll say it, and this is my opinion, and you can tell me what you think. But what's the most important decision made on Rosh Hashanah for the coming year?
That I receive a positive judgment.
That's the most important thing, that you receive a positive judgment?
Yeah.
You? It's the most important. For my davening, I'm hoping that. I'm sorry, remind me your name.
Each person, Raphael, Tzvi, or Robert?
Robert. The Robert should get a good din. That's the most important thing that can be. I mean, listen, it's important, Robert. I feel for you.
Everyone is pleading to Hashem that he or she receives a positive judgment.
I hear you, but the davening, and that's in Nisana Tokef.
Yeah.
When Nisana Tokef, we're all about my individual and everybody's individual lives. But the whole rest of the davening, aside from that, is basically Hashem, please perfect the world. Perfect the world. Make the world a perfect place. Remember, this is what it's about. Let's hear the shofar. Let's see you, King. And so we're basically. I think the number one decision is Mashiach going to come this year? Is the world going to come to its completion this year?
Okay.
I think that's the biggest decision we can have,
Okay.
right? And all our dinim, all our particular judgments will be great if Hashem decides to bring Mashiach this year, ostensibly, right? So, and our davening is really about Mashiach coming. We don't say that necessarily, Mashiach, please come. We're saying, Hashem, please reveal your kingship to the whole world so that everybody can see.
Okay.
That is, in effect, a coming of Mashiach. That's Geula.
Okay.
So how are we asking for Geula? We're asking for Hashem, you be king over the whole world. I want you to be king. And then we're saying, but you know what? I also want $100,000. I want the positive result on this test. I want help the kids. Like, this is what I want. So what do you mean? So so if we can turn all our needs and our wants into, but I really want it for you, Hashem, so then it answers the problem, right? Answers the problem. How can you have two, right? We understand the problem. They're two opposite modes, right? It's ostensibly contradictory modes. I'm supposed to be totally thinking of Hashem and the world coming to perfection and Hashem being revealed to the whole world and everyone singing. And then I'm also worried about my health and my wealth and my, and my avodas Hashem and all that, my individual things. So how do we stem the two? Just turn your individual needs into Lishma. Who could do that? So we're basically still left with the kasha.
Okay.
We're basically still left with the kasha. So the Rebbe says is that, so basically the problem is that we can't, on an intellectual level, turn our needs and magically say, I want my needs, I want this money and this health and this nachas and this shidduch and all the other Yeshuas, I want in my personal life because it's really for you, Hashem. Give me a break. So, what is it really? How are we really able to have our personal needs and that not be detracting from our overall wanting Hashem to be king? So he says, what?
He is the king. We want Hashem to reveal, to act like a king.
You want him to act like Hashem? You're not acting like a king. You're a king, but you're not acting like it. So could you please act like a king?
He is the king. It's not a question. We want him to reveal himself to
reveal himself, to be revealed in the whole world, that everybody should see that he's king, that I should feel that he's king. I should feel that he's king, and that's what I want. Hashem, I'm saying I want you to be king.
He's the king.
I want you to be king. I want to accept it. I want you to accept it. But I also want $1 million. I also want a shidduch. I also want my kids to this and that. I also want So what do I want already? So how can our internal needs, our individual needs, our wants, desires, whether they be physical, whether they be spiritual, how can my needs be not in addition or in pulling away or a dilution from my wanting Hashem to be king? to be revealed as king in the world. So the Rebbe has a fascinating answer.
What do you think? How small?
Okay. Basically, his answer is that according to the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, is that
I'll come home.
right? The pasuk Re'evim gam tzmeim nafshim behem tisatef, that Rav and Simon, that hunger and thirst of the guf for eating or drinking or something, that's coming from nafshon behem tisatef. There's a soul desire. There's a chiyuni. There's a desire on a basic spiritual level, right? We're not just a goof, right? We have a spiritual. We have a nefesh bahamis. We have a nefesh sichlis. We have a nefesh neshama lokis. We've got all these things, right? These spiritual elements, right? Our body is not our body. Just that's not what's keeping us alive. It's the spiritual souls that are put in our body, that have connection to our body, which are keeping us alive, right? It's like an IV, if we were, or a life-saving device, life support, right? It's life support. Our body is not able to keep itself going. It is because it's connected to our soul that it is staying alive. Once our souls disconnect, then our body dies. That's how it works. If our body doesn't make enough food to make the blood, eat enough food to make the blood to maintain the soul, which lives on our blood, then that's why we die, because it cannot sustain our soul, but it's our soul that's keeping us alive. So it's our soul, it's our spiritual element that wants to eat and drink. We think it's our body. Our body wants to eat and drink. Oh, my body wants to eat and drink. My body doesn't want to eat and drink. My soul wants to eat and drink, because there's avodas Hashem that is in there. It may be twisted. It may get twisted up with my ego, and I want to eat because I want to show that I'm I pay a lot of money at the restaurant, and I get the filet mignon, and I have caviar and all this, so I can use the food egoically. But the drive for eating, the drive for hunger, the drive for food and getting, that's a spiritual hunger. We said that our nefesh bahamis, our animal soul wants to stay alive. That's what it wants. It wants to be alive, because it knows that its time is limited. It's not the nefesh elokis that is immortal, right? There's the nefesh bahamis, which is the animal soul.
Is it in Hebrew or?
The nefesh bahamit.
Okay.
The nefesh bahamit, the behema nefesh, the guf nefesh, that is mortal. Whatever, that has a time. That's not going to go on forever, and so therefore it's obsessed with staying alive and doing what. But we egoify. That gets egoified. And so we have all these needs that we wanna, we want things now, and we want it now. We can't wait. We can't be patient, and we need to be. We're doing things to satisfy my ego and to make me feel alive, to make me feel like gratification, success, money, power, pleasure. All these things make me feel alive. So they're twisted. They're twisted by the ego and by our self-interest. But at the base of it, the pure urge to be alive is to do avodas Hashem. Okay. It gets manipulated because we're children, because we the Chovas Levavos actually discusses this, that because we don't have, because we basically need to take care of our physical selves first before our minds develop. We just need physical stuff. And so those physical needs become an end in of themselves, and they become, just to keep us alive and to give us pleasure, because the physical pleasure of them comes to us first as a creature, as a human being, and so therefore we get kind of connected to the pleasure in it, but at the base of it, the initial need for staying alive is really to do godly work, to do godliness. So at the end of the day, the nefesh bahamis is something that is not evil. It's not something that is taking us away from God. It's the ego twisting it around that takes us away from Hashem. But the drive, the deep drive of our spiritual essence in our physical body is to serve Hashem. So if we can access, so that's what he says. That's the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. So bakashas Adam Yisrael b'Rosh Hashana. So he's going to using this yesod, he's going to answer up how every single Jew can ask for what we want, for what we need, and it not be a dilution or a distraction from wanting Hashem to be king. How? Because when a Jew asks on Rosh Hashana, betachanunim, shakadosh baruch hu yiten lo et kol tzrachav, that Hashem should give him everything he needs, hagashmim v'aruchnim, both the physical and the spiritual needs he has. Af al pi shebechitzonius, even though on the external level he mitzad zeshen noigim lo yinyane bani chayim zoini, that even though on the external it looks like it's connected to his physical sustenance, his children, his parnasa, vinyane mitziyusay, and his egoic life, right? I need money, I need food, I need clothing, I need, comfort. Even though it seems like it's only relevant to my chitzonius and my external gratification and my identity as a person, that's what it seems like. That's what if I listed out the list of what I want on Rosh Hashanah for the year, it looks like it's connected to my identity as a father, a provider, a husband. I need it to who I am. Mikol makom. Makom. Mikol makom.
Nevertheless.
What? Nevertheless, ha'emes. Vapnimius, the shvichus hanefesh, the truth and the inside truth of pouring out my soul. B'tachanunim Hashem, please, this is what I need. Hein rav haneshama lamale as a kavana elyoino la'asois as a dvarim agashmim alolu l'dira lo yisbarach. There is really the internalness of that hunger is coming from a spirit, from the soul, to have filled this higher intention to do physical things in this world, to make Hashem a dwelling place in this lower world. The answer is very subtle. It's saying that it doesn't require some kind of deep kavanah lishma, that I better transmute all of my needs, that they're lishma. Because who's going to do that? Who could do that? That's for tzaddikim to do. But that we should know that when I really have a sincere drive, a sincere need, so much that I'm pouring my heart out, that is the soul's want for me, my part in this world, to make Hashem a dwelling place in this world. I have to believe it.
Yeah.
I just have to believe it. I have to believe it, that that's how Hashem made the world. That my physical drives, my inner drive for chaye, mezoine, banai, for kids, for Hashana, right? She was davening for a son. She was davening for a child. That deep drive that she had, that she was pouring out her soul for, wasn't because she wanted to be a mother. She didn't want to be Chana the mother. She didn't want to be, identified as
She wanted to serve Hashem.
It was part of Hashem's plan for her. And she knew it. She knew it inside. She was able to connect to that deep need inside of her that wasn't an egoic, selfish, Oh, I'm sad without a child. I'm lonely without a child. I feel incomplete without a child. Oh, what do I feel incomplete without a child? Not because Hashana, I need a child, because I'm sad. It's because there's a deep spiritual need for this, and that's what's lacking. That's what's lacking. My avodas Hashem that is not complete without this child. And that's what's being expressed when we tap into that need. Va'adarabba, hagufa sh'anu royim, that we see that Bnei Yisrael is oimik libam b'amiras u'nesanek toikef, when we see that what's the most passionate part of the davening? The most passionate part of the davening, if you look around, is in the Nesanek toikef. Everyone's crying, everyone's chechting, everyone's pouring out the heart and all the right. Why? Mi yanuach, mi yanuah. Yoser masher b'amiras maloich haloylam kol. Right? Who's crying? Maloich haloylam kol b'chvaydecha. Who's crying on that? Where's everybody crying? Where everybody's getting emotional? Nesanek toikef. When it comes to my personal needs, that's when we're all getting all emotional. Harizuo chacha. This is a proof, not to how egoic all Bnei Yisrael is and how much we just are interested in all the things we want. Fakert. It's a proof, shekein hu gamba misas inyan. That's because there's something very, very deep going on there. That those needs that are being expressed by Nesanek toikef, that we're getting so into it, so in the when it comes to the individual needs, not king, you be king, but in my individual needs, because that's where it's tapping into a spiritual intention, a spiritual need. It's a spiritual need, and it's expressed through wanting physical things, because it's through physical things that I'm able to actually access Hashem in this world. Hashem wants to be present in the physical. It's not for Hashem doesn't want to be in the high heavens. He's got enough high heavens. It's the physical world, the physical items, the tzedakah, the money, the house, the clothes, the kids, the simchas, the gashmias. That's where Hashem wants to be, in the tefillin, in the oir, in the matzah, in the food, in the challah, in the textiles, in the chaymarim. That is where Hashem, He made the world, to be involved in that, to be expressed through physicality. Don't ask me. I didn't make it. I didn't make it up. Hashem made the world like that. And so when I'm davening for my physical needs, it's because I know that's where, even if I don't intellectually realize it, even if I don't get it, if I'm not thinking about Hashem, I'm thinking about me and my own Dalet Amis and my own personal life, how this year is going to be. I should know or realize or believe or think and contemplate that derive and need when I'm davening and pouring out my heart is really coming from a ruchnius place. It's coming from my soul. And it's expressed through physical needs. Hashem made it that way. Why? Because Hashem wants His malchus to be expressed in gashmias.
Very good.
So He put needs, gashmias needs.
Very good connection there.
The Rebbe.
Well.
What do you mean, well? I'm just reading the words.
No, you're good.
So it's not for nothing that we have needs. It's not, even if we don't intellectually I feel I'm doing this l'shem shemayim, I should know that that's what's happening underneath. Underneath, it's happening by itself.
In the real world, I remember me sitting in the cinema. It's not so easy to switch gears, to I was going to say appreciate, but it's more than that, to feel. Intellectually, I understand what you're saying, but as a Ben Adam, it's not so easy to.
So you don't have to feel it. You feel a need, right? Yeah. You don't have to be Rebbe Yashiv to daven with heart during the Nesanek toikef.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on a high level to daven with emotion for Nesanek toikef, right? we see everybody in Shul and the Sana Toikif. That's a very emotional time. People are getting very emotional.
Okay.
People are getting very, worried or very. I mean, worry. That's there's no place for worry. But to be concerned and to be invested. That's because we shouldn't get hung up. Like it doesn't. He's saying it doesn't need to be an intellectual. I don't have to connect the dots. It just works that way. That's just how it works. That's how it works. It answers the stira because even though on an intellectual level it looks like there's a contrast. I'm asking Hashem, please be king, but then I'm saying I need all these things, right? Mm-hmm. So how can that be for the cloud? How can that be? Why would Chazal do that? Why would they put those two things together? On the day that I'm davening for Hashem to be king over the whole world, I'm also davening for all my needs. It doesn't make sense. They should have made one day for davening just Hashem, and one day for my needs.
I thought that we believe that Hashem will provide for all our needs. You say that in the daily davening.
Well, on Rosh Hashana is the day that we're crowning Hashem king.
Right, but
we're crowning Hashem king. So beyond
we say he provides for.
But we still daven for our needs.
When? We can, but we don't have to.
Unisana Toikif is people davening for their needs.
Unisana
Toikif, that's when, who's going to die this year? Who's going to live? Who by this? Who by that? Who's going to have a good life? Who's going to have a hard life this year, right? It's the real doom and gloom part of the Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur services, where everyone's getting all cryy and all emotional. Utvila, tshuva, tzedakah, right? We're all worried about our own how year's going to be, right?
I thought that's collectively we're asking for that. We're not asking for that individually.
I mean, mi yanuach. I mean, someone's going to be yanuach. Someone's going to be yanuach. Someone's b'mayim, someone be'esh, someone b'rav, someone b'the. I mean,
talking about the nations.
No, talking about me.
Talking about the nations, no.
Not you, not everybody.
Not at all. He's saying every person is going under the staff of the sheep going under. Okay, here you can review. It's not a ticket. Okay, great. So it's a very individual and it's in very stark contrast to the rest of the Shemona Esrei and the Musaf, which is all about Hashem, you be king. It has nothing to do with me or my personal. It's very global. You're right. For the rest of the davening, it's extremely global. It's extremely visionary. It's extremely exalted and lofty, and nothing to do with my individual day-to-day, how my year is going to be. When it comes to the Sana Toikif, however, Chazal put this part next to this thing, which is all about my individual, how my life is going to be day to day for the year. Aren't those two things contradictory? So the Rebbe, that's what the Rebbe is out to answer, and basically saying that it seems contradictory, but it's not contradictory because those needs that we have, that we're pouring out our soul, just like Hannah poured out her soul. When we're pouring out our souls for our needs, that is a message from a spiritual world, that this is what our part is to bring Hashem king in the world this year. And so whether we realize it or not, whether we connect to that or not, it's the truth. The truth and the inner life of our needs that we are really connected to, that we're really pouring out our heart on Rosh Hashanah, that we're really connected to, is from our neshama, is from our spiritual place. Why? How could it be? They're for money, it's for health, it's for very gas things, or for my individual things. Because that's how Hashem wants to be revealed in the world. His kingship in the world is revealed by us having physical things and doing mitzvahs and being involved in the physical world. We're not ascetics. We're not going to caves. We have to live in the physical world, and we need physical things. We're eating. We're making brachas. We're devouring the nitzotzos. We're taking the physical world, and we're saying Hashem is here. Hashem is here. Hashem is here. And our neshama knows that. Our ruach, our nefesh knows that deep down. And so when we're davening, we see that the most emotional part of the davening is when we're davening for our individual needs in the Sana Toikif. And that's because That's showing this depth. Meaning, what's his point by saying that that's the most emotional part of Rosh Hashanah? You see, Klal Yisrael, most emotional, drowning in their tears during the Sana Tokef. Why is that so? Why is that? Because that's how Hashem made it. You see Klal Yisrael. Look around. Look at the shuls. Look at what Klal Yisrael's doing. They're pouring their hearts out during the individual parts. Yeah. Because that's where Maloi Chalaolam Allah Olam Kuluk B'chvodecha happens through. My physical life. My physical life is where Hashem becomes king.
Isn't that backwards? It's not how we should be doing it. We should be trembling at the nation, not at our
trembling at the nation. What does that mean?
Trembling for the future of the klal, not for myself.
Okay, that's not the question. We're talking about klal versus prat.
Have it backwards.
No, we're not talking about klal versus prat here. We're talking about Hashem's kavod versus my physical or spiritual needs. Is it Hashem? You're the king. And that's all I care about? Or you're a king, but I also need a new car. I also need health. I also need a livelihood for the year. I also need my kids need a shidduch. I needed this. This is all decided today. This is all decided today. So yes, it's decided whether Mashiach is going to come and you're going to be king over the whole world in a revealed way. But it's also decided whether I'm going to be healthy or not, or whether my kids are going to be healthy or not, or whether I'm going to. That's also decided today. So why should focus on one or the other, but they detract from each other. Focusing on Hashem's being king or focusing on my individual needs. Says the Rebbe, no, there's no stira, there's no paradox. Because my physical needs, if I'm really in touch, if I'm really pouring out my nefesh from a real, sincere place, it is it's a spiritual signal that comes through my physical body in needs to make Hashem's kingship in this world. So the reason he brought a Baal Shem Tov teaching that when I'm hungry, it's my nefesh that wants the avodas Hashem through eating. That's what makes me hungry. So the physical sensation is not coming from my physical body. My physical sensation is coming from a spiritual impulse that is manifest as a physical need. So when we realize that our physical needs on a deep level, not, that I see a pretty girl and my physical need. No. I mean, maybe on some level, but that my physical needs, because Hashem wants to be served here, in the physical world. He wants a dira b'tachtonim. He wants a place to live in the physical. This physical, he wants to be. So when I realize that that's where he doesn't want to be in the high heavens. He wants to be in the physical world. My physical needs are an impulse from a spiritual place to make this is my chelek in Hashem's kingship. That the money that I get this year is part of my individual avodas Hashem to bring Hashem in this world in a physical way. Whether I'm connected to it or not, whether I just think I'm hungry or I want to do avodas Hashem, it doesn't matter. The impulse of that physical need, of that hunger, whether it's a hunger for food, a hunger for ruchnias, a hunger for health, a hunger for my children's shidduchim, I have a need, that physical need is coming from a spiritual zap. And whether I'm tuned into the spiritual behind it, no, we're all holding on a different level. But the fact that it is a spiritual to make Hashem king in my particular world, what I have, my avodas Hashem, my world, my possessions, my daled amis, that's coming from a spiritual place. That we should not think that our physical needs, when I'm davening for physical needs from a real place, not from I want to be the hot shot and I want to be the CEO and I want to be the big, the big gvir. Obviously that's what, right? Not from that, but from a deep place, that is a ruchnius. That is Hashem's kingship being pushed through our physical body, expressed in having physical needs. Okay? He is basically elevating the fact that we have spiritual need, the fact that we have physical needs. He's elevating that we have physical needs. We should not think that our physical needs are somehow treif. Our physical needs are actually a message from beyond, from our ruchniuskait, that I can't serve Hashem properly without having food and drink and money and health. And this is my chelik. My chelik needs a car. It needs cleaning help. It needs meat on Shabbos. It needs those things to make Hashem king in this world, in my portion of this world. It's not a stira. And that was Eli's.
Where would you draw the line on that? Because you could take that and permit all sorts of things that one would argue are prohibited, because I may think that I don't need a bacon little cheeseburger, but if I'm having a craving for it, something spiritual is requiring me to have it.
So we said earlier that this
Don't do it back.
Well, no, it's important. It's an important point because yeah, I hear you. Because our physical needs get warped with our ego. Our ego warps. It takes the physical needs that we have to stay alive and for pleasure and for success and it warps it.
Yeah.
And it says, oh, it's for me, for me, for me. So, but the impulse is pure. How it gets warped in our minds can be, and that's why we need the Torah. We need the Torah to say, okay, my body wants a bacon cheeseburger. Okay, well, obviously my body is off because the Torah says that's usher. So my body is off. I have to know. But the fact that I have a need for food, let's just assume we're going to go kosher. But let's say I have a need for parnasa. I have a need for a certain level of comfort in my life, for a certain quality of life, for a certain way of life. Okay, I have a need for that. So you say, oh, you're just an ego. You're just gashmiistic. You're just into stuff. Okay, so if I'm asking for a Ferrari and a $100,000 watch and a this, like if somebody is so gross to ask for those kinds of things on Rosh Hashana, then they're gross. But people who are just asking for their livelihoods to have their quality of life maintained for this year in health and wealth, that is an impulse that's not an egoic impulse. It may get warped and twisted along the wires, but the impulse for needs is something from our neshama, from our nefesh, that that when we express in a sincere way is not a contradiction to Hashem's kingship. The opposite. It's the davening for Hashem's kingship in my life through those things, because that's where the impulse is coming from. The impulse is coming from a spiritual place of wanting Hashem to be king. So the rest of the davening, I'm trying to use my mind. Hashem, I want everything revealed and I want your kingship. But when I get to my personal needs, it's my body's, that's where I'm able to connect to a different message, a message that's coming through my body. The message that's coming through my body is I need parnasa, I need ruchnius, I need. Those needs are coming through my body, but that doesn't mean it's gashmius. That means it's ruchnius that's pushed through my physical. And what's physical needs? Our needs are so holy. Our needs are so holy. Hashem gave us needs so that we connect Him. The fact that we have needs, that we have to eat every day, that we have to drink, that we have to breathe, that we need things, should not be underestimated. It should not be right. Our ego twists our needs and corrupts our needs and says we need all these other things. But the fact that we have needs for physical things is a fundamental part of how Hashem created the world. Because Hashem wants to be in the physical world. So He gave us physical needs so that we can bring Him into the physical world. When we say, Hashem, you be king over the whole world, I don't mean up in heaven. I mean right here, in my eating, in my drinking, in my clothing, in my family life, that's where you're going to be king. That's where you're going to be king. So when I'm davening for my clothes and my parnasa and my family life and that's what I'm saying. Whether I realize it or not, that's what I'm saying, because that need is coming from a spiritual place and it's being expressed in my physical. Yes, can it be that it's corrupted? Yes. It can be.
So why not pray directly merely for Hashem's Malchus? Because through him we will be taken care of. We get all of those things.
Listen, I am more like you. I am more like you. Every year I have an argument with my wife about Rosh Hashana and why are people so obsessed with worrying about what their year is going to be like. A whole davening is not about needs. The whole davening is about Hashem, you be king. So why aren't we just like, Hashem, you be king, I want you to be king, that's all I want. Chazal were smarter than us. They said, yeah, you want Hashem to be king? Theoretical, you want Hashem to be king? You need stuff. You need stuff. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. Because if you want me to be king, it's not decapitated from your physical needs.
So it's a means of putting the awe of Hashem into us, of reminding us of how powerful He is, that He's deciding all of these things, as opposed to being requests for.
Okay, so this is obviously a different way of looking at that. It's not looking at the request.
Like the Goyim do, that they have their shopping lists of please buy baby Billy the teddy bear.
Okay, I understand, and this is what Eli, this whole sicha began with Eli misunderstanding Chana. Chana was davening. We read the Haftarah on Rosh Hashanah as Chana davening, and Eli thought she was drunk. Now the Rebbe comes out very logically that he was not thinking she was drunk on alcohol, but that she was drunk on her needs. Like you're saying, you're standing in front of the Beis Hamikdash, you're standing in front of Beis Hashem, and you're saying, I want a teddy bear, I want a Ferrari, and I want a this, and I want a that, and I want that. You keep going and going and going. You base it, right? She just kept talking and talking, like, enough already. What are you doing over here? Like, it's not mukhubad. You're like, what is this? You're at Santa here? I mean, what is this? You want this and that and the other thing? And she had no shvichas nefesh. I'm doing shvichas nefesh. She was saying is, I'm not coming from these needs that, just, whatever my whims are and my this. I'm really tapped into what I need. So when we can tap into what we really need, not a shopping list of like this, and I want it red, and I want it shiny, and I want it this, and I want it okay, that's absurd. But we shouldn't think that therefore I should be decapitated for my needs. Because it's coming against Hashem's kingship, which is the basis of the kasha of this whole sicha. But to come to answer that it's not a paradox, that it's not, and that's such an amazing chiddush of Hasidus, of Yiddishkeit, that our physical needs are not in contradiction to God's plan. In fact, that's part of God's plan. And when I'm tapped into and davening from a shvichas, a nefesh kind of place, I am davening Hashem's needs through me. They're my needs. What's Hashem's needs? That I have a house, that I have clothes, that I have parnasa, that I have health. These are Hashem's needs. Because Hashem wants to be in this world. And for Him to be in this world, I need money to buy tefillin, and money to give tzedakah, and to buy Shabbos food, and to buy my wife jewelry, and to buy my kids clothes. And I need this. Otherwise, what's Hashem's kingship in the world? I'm poor. I have nothing to pay for. I have no mitzvah. I can't pay for mitzvahs. I can't pay for what? I'm just on the street. I can't pay rent. What kind of Hashem's kingship is that? Hashem's kingship needs my gashmias provisions.
You think God doesn't know what you need if you don't specifically tell Him what you need? I'm
not saying about specifics, but I'm saying, listen. Listen, 1 second. Listen. You're coming in judgy on having specific needs. Okay? You're coming in judgy, and I hear that. But listen to what the Rebbe's saying from the Baal Shem Tov, is that our physical needs are not egoic mitzias, this. They can be. They can be. No. A real tzaddik can say, I want all this stuff, but I want it l'shem shemayim. I want all this stuff, but I want it for you, not for me. Come on. That's a joke. That's for those people. But for the rest of us, who were all davening Rosh Hashana, we all have the same nusach. So what are we going to do? We have the stira. How am I saying Hashem and I have my own needs? Because he's saying that our needs on a deep level are ruchnias. They are from the other world. They're not just my shopping list. Okay? So if we're on the level of shopping list, no one's talking about that. But if we're on the level of really sincerely having needs, feel like Hannah, she needed a son. What did she need a son for? She gave the son away 2 years later. What did she need a son for so badly? What did she need a son? Was she dying for a son? She gave him away. Because her soul knew that was part of her avodas Hashem, that Hashem's kingship needed her to have a son. Oh, you're Santa? You want a son? You need a son. I don't need a son. My soul needs a son. So we're not always as connected to that as Hannah. But the answer, you will always be left with the kasha. Because at the end of the day, we're saying Nisana Toikif. And at the end of the day, if you look at the Jewish world, Nisana Toikif is the most emotional part of davening. Is the part where everyone's on page. Everyone knows what page we're on. Everyone knows what we're davening in Nisana Toikif. And so, how can it be? How is that just that we're all so off? And we're all so gashmiistic, and we're all so self-concerned and self-interested. Listen, it may be, but the Rebbe is seeing it in the light of through a gadol, through a Torah, through tzaddik, that we are expressing our needs, our deep needs, which are Hashem's needs for us. They're Hashem's needs for us. They're pushed through our physical feeling. They're pushed through our physical body. And expressed as Gashmias needs, but they are what Hashem's kingship requires for our avoda. So whether we feel comfortable with that or not, that's what's going on. Okay.
Very good today.
Okay. All the best. We should have a ksiva chesima tova, and we should be able to tap into our shvichas nefesh. We should pour out our heart and know that whatever it is, we're pouring out our heart, that we should pray that our tefillah should be mamish from that place, that whatever's being squeezed out through what I feel I need, is that it's really coming from a ruchnius place and not from an egoic place, but it's coming from a ruchnius place, even though I don't sense it that way. I'm not going to lie to myself that I want this all lishma, but that's how Hashem made it. Hashem made it that my deep needs are from Hashem. They are from Hashem. And so I shouldn't be ashamed of expressing them as long as I'm aware of that dynamic. Okay, God bless.